So when you enter into the place of praise, you release the fatness of God in your life. Now here is David in a situation. He went on behalf of an assignment God has led him to, but when he got back home, everything was missing. Everything that he thought he has worked for from January to November was missing. And David was now depressed after a hard day labor. Lord, how can you allow the enemy to enter into my house and take what has rightfully belonged to me? David began to cry and he began to weep, and the Bible says he cried until he had no strength anymore in him. Him and his people began to cry and they began to weep and they were crying. But you see, God does not respond to depressed tears. You can cry from here to tomorrow, nothing is going to happen in your life. And David looked around and he found out that his people now wanted to stone him because depression brings hostility. Yes, anytime you are depressed, the devil comes with a hostile spirit to take your life out. And David found out that tears does not do anything. He says, wait a minute, this thing is not working. I have to change my method. And David switched. Tell somebody switch. Yes, Paul and Silas, they were in the prison. They were tied up. They began to pray and to pray all through the night. Nothing happened and they switched. Oh yes, Martha and Mary, they called Jesus to the graveyard of their brother, and their brother was dead for 4 days. The Bible says, and Jesus wept. But when Jesus wanted a miracle, the Bible says that Jesus switched. Tell somebody you've got to switch. I know you've been complaining from January to November, but this is switching time. Switch on your praise, switch on your thanksgiving, switch on your gratitude, switch it on. I dare to announce to you that there's going to be an anointing that will be released when you switch on that praise. And the Bible says that David encouraged himself in the Lord his God. So David began to encourage himself. He started to speak life instead of crying. He started to speak life, and immediately the presence of God came. And he said, oh no, now we can inquire of the Lord now that he's here. And the Lord said to him, David, I'm going to release 3 graces for you. He says, number 1, you shall pursue. That word pursue is in the midst of your praise, uncommon strength is going to be released in your life. You begin to bite more than you can chew. God is going to cause you to pursue. You're going to pursue great contracts. You're going to pursue bigger jobs. You're going to pursue greater heights in ministry. Somebody is going to pursue under the sound of my voice. Before you couldn't stand and run, but God is not calling you to walk this time around. There's a pursuing grace that is being released in this house. Then he said, number 2, you are going to overtake. Some people went ahead of you in January, but an overtaking grace is coming. Some people went ahead of you in March, and overtaking grace is coming. Some people went ahead of you in November, but the anointing of the Lord is going to cause you to overtake. God is not a God of rush, but he's a God of speed. And the hand of the Lord came upon Elijah, and he outran the chariots of Ahab.